И хочется еще раз напомнить, что следующая сессия также у нас будет в основном на английском языке, поэтому если кому-то из нас необходим перевод, синхронный перевод, можно смело воспользоваться нашим оборудованием, наушниками. Их можно взять в этой части зала, можно смелее подходить поближе. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to start in 5 or 10 minutes. Вы к нам еще вернетесь?
Ну, видимо, да, но только чуть-чуть позже.
Чуть-чуть попозже. Но будем ждать отличного вам настроения. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to start in 10 minutes.
Гражданская платформа развития.
The whole conversation, the whole discussion will be in English. That's why our headsets may be useful for you.
I'm generous.
You can.
Девятнадцатый Всемирный фестиваль молодежи и студентов.
19th World Festival of Youth and Students.
Гражданская платформа развития.
Civil Platform of Development.
День четвертый. Я щедрый.
Day 4. I'm generous.
Так вот, друзья, еще раз хочется напомнить о том, что день у нас будет действительно очень насыщенным. Интересные дискуссии, интересные сессии, лекции, общение с нашими спикерами. Далее у нас будет обед. Волшебный, замечательный, хороший обед. Потом продолжим далее. А вечером у нас начнется дискотека. Друзья, более того, Ирина пообещала к нам присоединиться, но будем надеяться, что она к нам присоединится.
15-й Всемирный фестиваль молодежи и студентов.
19th World Festival of Youth and Students.
Гражданская платформа развития.
Civil Platform of Development.
День четвертый. Я щедрый.
Day 4. I'm generous.
Девятнадцатый Всемирный фестиваль молодежи и студентов.
19th World Festival of Youth and Students.
Гражданская платформа развития.
Civil Platform of Development.
Ведь, как сказал Джеймс Браун, если мы проснулись и не станцевали, день пройдет напрасно, но сегодня вечером мы сможем это исправить, друзья. Да, танцев хватит на всех, на самом деле можно даже в перерывах немного танцевать. И как это делают вот на просторах медиацентра, звучит различная музыка.
15-й Всемирный фестиваль молодежи и студентов.
19th World Festival of Youth and Students.
Гражданская платформа развития.
Civil Platform of Development.
День четвертый. Я щедрый.
Day 4. I'm generous.
Девятнадцатый Всемирный фестиваль молодежи и студентов.
19th World Festival of Youth and Students.
Гражданская платформа развития.
Civil Platform of Development.
День четвертый. Я щедрый.
Day 4. I'm generous.
Девятнадцатый Всемирный фестиваль молодежи и студентов.
19th World Festival of Youth and Students.
Ну что же, Ирина, до свидания. До свидания. Будем дожидаться вас на дискотеке. Да. Сегодня обязательно, как вы пообещали. Я уверен, это будет очень-очень незабываемый вечер сегодня. Так же, как и на протяжении уже 4-го дня, мы вместе с вами находимся в главном медиацентре, слушаем интересные лекции, вступаем в дискуссии, делаем для себя очень много новых, интересных открытий.
Гражданская платформа развития.
Civil Platform of Development.
День четвертый. Я щедрый.
Day 4. I'm generous.
Кстати, дамы и господа, друзья, полезная информация заключается в следующем, что все лекции, все дискуссии, все происходящее, естественно, мы можем наблюдать в прямом эфире. И более того, как мне сообщили, все записи всех лекций будут выложены на официальном сайте фестиваля. То есть их можно будет скачать и пересмотреть неоднократно.
19-й Всемирный фестиваль молодежи и студентов.
19th World Festival of Youth and Students.
Итак, друзья, а мы готовы двигаться далее постепенно и потихоньку, но перед тем, как мы продолжим, хочется узнать, а все ли выспались сегодня?
Я
Нет, так, вот я же зато честно, как с доктором, хорошо. Почему не выспались? Почему так случилось?
Ночные смены.
Ночные смены это дискотека, наверное, да? Теперь это так называется? Одно другому не мешает. Почему? Можно днем работать, конечно, а вечером. Я сам вчера ходил в Олимпийский парк, отличные группы выступали, прям уходить не хотелось. Но все-таки пришлось, потому что рано просыпаться. А вот мой коллега ведущий Александр, ему, конечно, немножко тяжко сейчас, потому что он вернулся только в часов 5 домой и, говорит, танцевал так, что потом еле проснулся, но тем не менее пришел и радует в соседнем зале также гостей и активно вступает
Festival of Youth and
в беседы. Так, ну а сегодня в дискотеку пойдете?
развития.
Civil Platform.
Вот. 3 дня, поэтому нужно за эти 3 дня, понимаете, как будто 3 года. 3 года здесь провели. Вот так вот. Нужно зажечь по полной программе. Тем более нам Ирина пообещала, что она к нам присоединится. Вы понимаете? Это будет жара. Это будет просто... Сказать, что это будет жара, это промолчать. Так, кто еще не выспался?
19th World Festival of Youth and Students.
Все выспались?
Гражданская платформа развития.
Civil Platform of Development.
День 4. Я щедрый.
Day 4. I'm generous.
Да, друзья. Это будет, сказать, что это будет эффектно, как минимум, поэтому Вика вот все вам сказала, что необходимо сделать. Вы можете начинать делать это прямо сейчас, не теряя времени даром. Виктория, действительно вы выполните свое обещание?
Конечно, мы всегда выполняем то, что мы говорим. Мы сказали, мы построим клинику в Гватемале, построили клинику в Гватемале. Теперь собираем на клинику в Никарагуа. Если мы соберем до окончания проекта, мы соберем 750 тысяч рублей, что является половиной суммы, я выйду на сцену и публично побреюсь на лысо.
19-й
Друзья, давайте поаплодируем. «Безумство храбрых» поем мы песню. Хочется процитировать великие строки. Я уверен, что все получится, все обязательно получится. Даже ни капельки не сомневайтесь в этом. Но все-таки над тем, чтобы сделать такую короткую прическу, подумайте. У вас такие хорошие длинные волосы. Нужно ли это?
I'm generous.
Может, какую-то альтернативу придумать тому вместо стрижки?
19-й
Вы
Всемирный фестиваль
можете, я думаю, что если мы соберем всю сумму, то я не буду бриться
Festival of
до
Youth
конца фестиваля. Так что у вас всегда есть выбор. Давайте будем пересобирать и делать хорошие дела вместе и весело.
Ну, смотрите, а если наступит такая ситуация, что вы будете настроены решительно и все-таки решите сделать себе короткую прическу, то где и когда это можно будет увидеть и понаблюдать за всем процессом?
Я думаю, что самое большое количество людей у нас собирается всегда здесь, перед Центральным медиа-центром, здесь, в Сочи, на фестивале молодежи и студентов, которые очень классные, здесь очень весело, ребята. И те, кто смотрит нас сейчас в Перископ, вот завидуйте по-хорошему, по-доброму, насколько здесь ребята делают хорошие и важные дела вместе. Вот. И, конечно же, подключайтесь к нашему прямому эфиру и наблюдайте 22 числа, да, у нас закрытие, как я буду бриться. Это, наверное, будет смешно.
Гражданская
Так, хорошо, не уходите, заинтриговали на самом деле. Я так понимаю, что все последние новости мы можем наблюдать в ваших соцсетях. В Инстаграме вы, наверное, есть. Как вас найти в Инстаграме? И если, допустим, вы решите все-таки сделать этот непростой шаг и сделать себе короткую прическу, вы выложите информацию в Инстаграме, где, когда, во сколько, в каком месте можно будет понаблюдать за одним из главных исторических моментов уходящего года.
Наша организация и то, где мы работаем, мы строим клиники в странах третьего мира. Это то, чем мы занимаемся. Я врач, это я не... Ну, то есть, когда я не брею голову, я лечу людей иногда. И наша организация называется Health to Help в Инстаграме. Health, _help. И меня зовут Виктория Валикова. Если кто-то вдруг заболел, ко мне можно подойти. А еще в свете сегодняшней нашей платформы Crowdfunding ко мне можно подойти и задать любой вопрос. Мы уже насобирали чисто краудфандингом на первую нашу клинику. И сейчас будем собирать на вторую в Никарагуа. Если кто-то умеет строить, кстати, строители, приходите. И медсестры, медбратья, врачи. Всех приглашаем.
Ну что ж, друзья, наши самые громкие аплодисменты Виктории. Прямо сейчас Виктория настроена решительно, и я уверен, что вот ваш позитив, ваше отличное настроение всегда будет только исключительно на пользу. И все идеи, все задачи, которые вы себе ставите, они обязательно сбудутся, даже более чем. А мы готовы постепенно, потихоньку приступать к нашей следующей сессии, которая начнется совсем скоро. Дожидаемся всех спикеров.
19-й Всемирный фестиваль молодежи и студентов.
19th World Festival of Youth and
Dear Mark Lambertini, if you with us, we are waiting for you, and we are glad to welcome you because we are ready to start in a couple of minutes.
I'm generous.
Всемирный фестиваль молодежи и студентов.
19th
Так, ну что ж, дамы и господа, друзья. Кто сегодня еще пойдет в Олимпийский парк зажигать по полной программе до самого утра? Давайте поднимем руки.
День 4. Я
Ага, так, нас немного, но все-таки такие есть. Ага, хорошо. Поэтому ждем всех. Сегодня, я, кстати, не помню, кто-то знает, какая группа сегодня будет выступать?
19-й Всемирный фестиваль молодежи.
Антоха МС сегодня будет, да? Интересно.
19th World Festival of Youth and Students.
Поэтому приглашаем всех также присоединиться. До скольки по времени, кстати, будет сегодня все?
День 4.
Часов до 12.
Щедрый.
Day 4.
Ну, если не считать автопати, я согласен, конечно. И потом дальше можно продолжать. И потом сразу вот с автопати можно и сюда будет присоединиться в медиацентр. Почему бы и нет?
19-й Всемирный фестиваль молодежи и студентов.
19th World Festival of Youth and Students.
Ну что же, дамы и господа, друзья, последняя информация прямо сейчас от наших организаторов. 10 минут у нас еще есть до начала. Большая часть лекции у нас будет на английском языке, судя по всему, поэтому кому понадобится синхронный перевод, у нас есть наушники, их можно взять в этой части зала. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have 10 minutes to go, and the majority part of our conversation and discussion and this session will be in English. That's why our headsets will be useful for you. You can
Development.
take it on the left corner of this hall.
Щедрый.
Day 4. I'm generous.
Так, девушки, а вы выспались? Все в порядке? Да? Ага, хорошо. Это такое бодренькое, хорошее, отличное настроение. Вот. Выспались? Все в порядке. Вот отличная губная помада. Просто супер. Великолепный цвет, замечательный. Так, ну что ж, друзья,
Платформа развития.
что вам еще такое интересного рассказать? Ну, я думаю, что интересную информацию мы будем готовы услышать от наших спикеров, которые постепенно к нам присоединяются. Более того, беседа будет действительно очень насыщенной. И что самое интересное, мы также можем все вместе активно в ней участвовать и задавать вопросы нашим спикерам, нашему модератору.
Festival of Youth and Students.
Гражданская платформа развития.
Civil Platform of Development.
День 4. Я щедрый.
Day 4. I'm generous.
Да, вы знаете, друзья, на самом деле, я вот не могу упустить такую возможность. Поэтому, Виктория, давайте я вас добавлю в Инстаграме прямо сейчас, чтобы следить за всеми новостями. Почему бы и нет?
Students.
Гражданская платформа развития.
Civil Platform of Development.
День 4.
Я не только могу говорить о себе, я еще и...
I'm generous.
Мы в нашей организации очень любим помогать другим небольшим организациям, небольшим другим НКО. Мы помогаем студентам и
19-й Всемирный
аспирантам,
фестиваль молодежи и
интернам и
студентов.
другим, кто
19th
хочет
World Festival of Youth and
помочь
Students.
этому миру или делать какой-то свой... Кстати, пользуясь моментом, ребята, если среди вас есть учителя, которые хотят поехать в Гватемалу или в Никарагуа на один учебный год и преподавать английского, у нас, к сожалению, в нашей деревне, которую мы курируем, 150 детей, и у них нет учителя. Если вы хотите, у нас очень вкусно кормят 3 раза в день рисом, у нас отличные двухъярусные кровати, у вас будет замечательный, прекрасный сосед или даже соседка, а у нас, знаете,
Прекрасный сосед, вы почему-то посмотрели на меня. Так,
Да, это был комплимент. Вот, и у нас вообще очень весело и дружно в компании людей, которые меняют этот мир. Мы ищем не только врачей, но и учителя в Никарагуа и в Гватемалу. Вот, к сожалению, у школы в Никарагуа нет стен, и там вам придется писать с детьми на песке, но мы постараемся это поменять. Я обещаю, что мы вам купим доску, и вообще все будет здорово, и москитная сетка у вас даже будет. Поэтому, если вдруг есть среди вас учителя, которые хотят преподавать английский в странах третьего мира, просто подойдите ко мне, стукните вот так по плечу и скажите...
Так, ну можно, да, не так сильно, Виктория. Угу, так, что дальше?
Да, подойдите, просто найдите меня и скажите: Вика, я хочу помогать детям, я хочу делать хорошие дела, и мы вам обязательно поможем и объясним, что и как нужно сделать. Мы вас будем кормить, поить и любить. Да.
Друзья, ну давайте поаплодируем Виктории, на самом деле. Идея отличная, и я уверен, что все обязательно получится. И хочется, да, обменяться инстаграмами, чтобы следить за всеми вашими успехами. Так, как вас найти?
Health, то есть как health, как здоровье на английском.
19-й Всемирный фестиваль молодежи и
двоечка.
студентов.
Двоечка — это хорошо. Двойка — это то, что у меня в школе было по математике, но зато иностранные языки хорошо давали. Так.
Вторые вот это мы health to help.
Я
Вот.
щедрый.
И можно на нас подписаться. Вот произошло прямо историческое событие. Вот. И у нас много-много всяких фотографий там о том, что мы делаем, видео, и мы делаем лайвстримы прямо из клиники, где вы можете посмотреть, какие у нас пациенты, кому мы помогаем, насколько бедно живут люди. И, конечно же, вы можете сами помочь и поучаствовать прямо вживую в жизни целой деревни индейцев майя.
Вот так вот, друзья, добавляемся в Инстаграм к Виктории. Есть, так сказать, новости, за которыми можно следить. И также все-таки Виктория осмелится на такой непростой шаг, сделать себе короткую стрижку, прическу. Все новости будут выложены в официальном Инстаграме. Побреем за добро. Вот такой вот можно хэштег, мне кажется, сделать даже. Почему бы и нет? Уфа вместе с нами на связи. Уфа — это великолепно. Какой мед вкусный. Мед. У вас пазика прям есть? Это да.
Уже теперь не у меня, я уже в Гватемале. У мамочки вкусный мед. Приезжайте в гости. Кстати, 26 городов за время вот этого тура, с которым я в России, я посещу. И следите за новостями в нашей группе. Приходите на встречи, задавайте вопросы. Я инфекционист и тропиколог. Если у вас есть какие-то вопросы по тому, как поехать за границу, приехать за границей, как не заболеть заболеваниями, которые встречаются в тропиках и опасные, приходите, консультации бесплатные, пишите мне, я всегда рада помочь, тем более своим соотечественникам, тем более таким классным, которые приехали на Всемирный фестиваль молодежи и студентов.
Ну, давайте еще раз поаплодируем Виктории. Виктория, вы великолепны, вы замечательны, вы очаровательны. И я уверен, еще раз повторюсь, что все ваши идеи обязательно исполнятся и воплотятся в реальность. В этом даже можно ни капли не сомневаться. Ну что, дамы и господа, судя по всему, мы готовы начинать прямо сейчас. И...
й Всемирный фестиваль молодежи и студентов.
19th World Festival of Youth and Students.
Ну что ж, дамы и господа, друзья, мы готовы двигаться далее прямо сейчас, и с огромным удовольствием хочется...
Ladies and gentlemen, we are ready to begin. I would like to give the floor to our moderator, Inga Moiseyeva, the head of the project Душевный базар. Good afternoon. I hope you will forgive me because I'm going to speak Russian. My English is not up to the mark yet, but my colleague James is going to help me. Marco Lambertini is going to join us, and as soon as he joins us, we will begin our panel discussion. Hello,
Hi. Друзья, может быть...
friends, could you please move forward? We would like to keep closer in this discussion. I would like to introduce James. James represents Isaac. AIESEC is a noted students association which works with the students all over the world, including Russia. And Dushevny Bazar is closely connected with Isaac. We are going to talk about the phenomenon of crowdfunding. And I would like to ask you, do you have any experience of crowdfunding? Could you raise your hands? Those who helped or aided a project of some kind with the help of crowdfunding, who created their own companies. That's super. We have quite a lot of experience. And we're going to analyze it. Who has participated in any charitable campaigns on the platform of crowdfunding? Thank you. Which countries do you represent? Super. James, I'd like to give you the floor.
Just to explain, I'm from UK, but I work in Russia now. My name's James. I work for ISEC, and I'm responsible for the operations of ISEC. So we find volunteers in Russia, and we send them on projects abroad. I'm here today to not only represent my organization, but also to moderate this discussion about crowdfunding. So I've had experience in crowdfunding myself, with volunteers that I send on our exchange opportunities. So it's really cool. And we have some ISEC people in the house today, over here. So really happy to see people who are part of our organization. Cool. So I will introduce our panelists today. So first of all, we have Roberto. He's from the CEO and, he is the CEO and founder of Derev. And it's the principal crowdfunding platform in Italy. It's a really famous campaign, actually, that they had on Facebook, which I saw had 80,000 users generate the most comments on a post in 24 hours. Yeah, so a really cool experience there. And also, it actually was certified by the Guinness World Records, which is also really cool. So Roberto responsible for that, and we also have Marco. So Marco is the Director General of the World Wildlife Fund, an amazing organization. And also he started off as a volunteer in the organization in Italy, and also worked as Chief Executive for the BirdLife International, which is an international organization for conservation of birds. And also, so he works with 120 civil society organizations around the world. So that's really cool. And last but not least, we have Victoria. So Victoria, I met recently, but it's a really cool person. And she has a charity called Health for and Help. And she has a lot of experience in crowdfunding, particularly with Boomstarter. So she did a Boomstarter campaign in winter 2016, and in this campaign, she met a goal of 1,327,000 rubles, which is an amazing feat. And her main project is devoted to creating clinics in Guatemala, and she provides medical services for the indigenous people in Guatemala. And it's a really amazing project. And she's hoping to open a new clinic in Nicaragua in the next year. And she needs your help as well. So she will start a campaign today. And really happy to do that. And so these are our panelists today. We can start off with Roberto, I think, to explain more about his experience in crowdfunding.
Good morning. Nice to meet you. I'm Roberto. I'm the CEO of Derev. Derev is an Italian crowdfunding platform, and it's a project that I created by myself when I was studying at the university. mostly because I wanted to use the internet to make a change. I was a blogger, and in Italy I get a lot of followers as a blogger. Actually, I have 6 million followers on Facebook. And so I started to create something to engage the people, my followers, not just as readers, but as participants in my ideas. And my first idea was to make a Guinness World Record. I created a post on my Facebook page, and in 3 months, almost 1 million people commented this post. So I went into the Guinness World Record. I get a lot of visibility on newspapers and media and more. And so in my next ideas, the idea was to ask people to fund a project they care. So I had the idea to create a crowdfunding platform, and I created this website asking people to propose their ideas, their project about arts, about innovation, about environment, politics. And this platform was growing very fast in Italy, so I found some investors who decided to invest into my idea. They gave me 1.5 million of euro, and so my idea became a company. And actually, this is my first company, and there are 50 people working into this company. And actually, Derev is the main Italian crowdfunding platform because we have a lot of campaigns. In 4 years, we had 80,000 campaigns. And in this, there is also the biggest campaign ever made in Italy. That is for a science center in Italy that was destroyed. And we asked people to collect 100,000 euro, €1 for 100,000 people. And actually, we got 1.6 million of euro. So this gave us a huge visibility also in Europe. And on our platform, we help people to create their ideas. You don't need to go to a bank. You don't need to go to an investor. You first need to go to your supporters and people. Ask people if they like your idea, and if they want to be the first people to invest in your idea, to give you €1. And for this reason, the European Parliament named us the digital democracy leader of the European Union. And actually, there are a lot of big projects on the funding, and we are starting also in the international market, so we can take also international project, Russian project, and also to help local communities to create new ideas.
Cool. We could also, I think one question I would like to ask you today, particularly, is how much does social network, because you specialize in social networks, like, how much does social network help deliver the crowdfunding? So how much the promotion on social network can help people with their crowdfunding?
The social network are very, very important because when we started, there were already other Italian crowdfunding platforms, but all the other crowdfunding platforms just were giving the tool to fund, to collect money, to raise money, not the people. Our strength is that we put together the tool to collect money with the community. We have a lot of followers, a lot of people following us on social networks, and so we bring them the best ideas. For this reason, the social networks are the most important tool to start a crowdfunding campaign, because first you need to reach your people around you, to explain your project and ask them to contribute for a contribution. And when they start to help you and to fund your campaign, then the campaign becomes interesting for newspapers, for media, for politicians. Everyone wants to be in your campaign. So the first step is the most important. And the first step can be done with social network, because you have a low cost to reach people, and you can get a lot of contribution and visibility, and so to gain a lot of attention.
Thank you so much. Really cool answer. So I want to also pass on to Marco now to explain more about how World Wildlife Fund uses crowdfunding. Maybe we can use the microphone. Yeah.
No, I think it's working.
Yeah, it works, yeah?
Yeah,
Cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Brilliant.
Great, thank you so much. I also was involved in crowdfunding when I was very young. I started as a volunteer, as you said, at WWF when I was 12. And my first activity as a volunteer was actually going door to door, the old crowdfunding way, knocking and asking for donations for WWF project. I was a cute little boy, you know, and so all these grandmothers during the afternoon, that they were the only ones at the home, were very keen to give me money. And I raised quite a bit of money at the time. And I have to say one thing. The thing I learned from that experience early in my life was about fundraising that applies to any type of fundraising, is about the incredible gesture of trust that people do when they give you money. And us, as NGOs, as crowdfunders in different ways, should never forget that. Because I still remember the eyes of those grandmothers that give me a little money for my project, look into my eyes and say, here it is, you know, use it well. And so I would like to highlight that dimension. First of all, the ethical dimension of crowdfunding and fundraising in general. Crowdfunding and fundraising from people is a new term, but actually has been happening in many different ways in the past. As I said, today we had the digital communication means to do that at scale, reaching millions of people. Roberto, you need to explain to me how you got 6 million followers, because I don't have so many, but never, we can have a discussion later on. But it is something that we in WWF and many other organizations have done very early. In fact, perhaps WWF was one of the first organizations beginning to raise money for the environment from people. We were established as a fund exactly for that. And I've got a little video clip, if you can put it on now, that shows the history, very short, less than 2 minutes, the history of crowdfunding from the old ways, 61, the first experiment of fundraising, to today. And so you will see that the evolution has been quite dramatic. You can send the video if you have it ready.
We're just waiting on the video. But I think for now...
okay, maybe is there? Okay, coming. With the music, yeah? With the audio. These were in 61, 1961.
Van de reuzenpanda, het symbool van het Wereld Natuurfonds, leven er nog maar 1000. De panda die van bamboe leeft wordt ernstig bedreigd. Samen met de Chinese regering heeft het WNF een reddingsplan.
If we don't act now, it could be too late.
I've been waiting all night for you to tell me that you need me. Tell me that you want me. Tell me that you need me. Tell me that you want me. Tell me that you need me. Tell me that you want me. Tell me that you need me. Tell me that you want me.
And I Jack Black, I'm trying to save real candidates, but I can't do it all by myself. That's why I'm teaming up with my awesome buddies at WWF.
Right, so that gives you a bit of an idea of how much crowdfunding has evolved over the time. It was crowdfunding then. We were touching on... The first appeal in '61 appeared on the magazine in the UK, connected with 40,000 people. At the time was an incredible number. Of course, today is very different. Today, with the social media, like Roberto explained, we can reach so many more people, so the potential is huge. But let me say this, crowdfunding is, for us, about raising money, but actually, more than that, is about another way to engage and to mobilize people for the cause that we all share. And is about producing messages around very specific, very urgent, and very concrete actions. This is our experience in terms of modern crowdfunding through social media. This is the best way to actually raise resources. In our experience, we don't raise a lot of resources, and I guess the difference between environmental and humanitarian perhaps is quite strong. But for specific medium-sized projects, crowdfunding on social media today is super powerful. There are also some very cool new creative approaches. For example, there are people supporting a friend. They actually not support the cause, they support a friend who supports the cause. So that's an interesting way. If you launch to your friend in Facebook an appeal for WWF, most of your friends will support you actually rather than WWF, but still will contribute to the cause. We have in countries like Turkey and in other countries around Europe an interesting initiative where people actually ask their invitees for weddings to donate online to WWF cause. So instead of receiving gifts, they want the gift of their friends to come to a cause, and so many other creative ways to do things. And of course, celebrities as well can be quite helpful. So my last reflection here is again back to the first one. We have obviously a responsibility to fulfill the expectations of the people that provide funding in general, particularly through a remote mean like digital communications. And it's all, at the end of the day, about the urgency, the importance of the message, how the message resonates with people, and particularly the trust that I think we can build between us that deliver the project and the people that support us. So I'll stop there.
Thank you so much. I can pass on to Inga. Maybe we can ask a question as well.
Да, причем я его...
Yes, actually, I would like to ask my question to the representatives, our foreign representatives here, and our auditorium. What is the average age of crowdfunding? Actually, it's 20 years old. The U.S. has created the first crowdfunding platform, the one that is being defined as a modern crowdfunding. So, actually, crowdfunding, I suppose, has begun even before 1961. People were always involved in collecting funds for a cause. I'd like to... Roberto has a wonderful video dedicated to crowdfunding, and I would like to demonstrate it for you. Let's take a look. Как бы выглядела история, если не было бы краудфандинга? До французской революции, например, имя пользователя Робеспьер. Приступим к революции, создадим категории liberté, égalité, свобода, братство, равенство. Или до того, как была открыта Америка, например. Как доехать на восток с запада? Пожалуйста, внесите свои средства. Или до того, как Италия объединилась, создание ИТ-доменов. Помогите нам создать IT-домены. А как бы выглядела Вселенная? Это угол, где можно высказать свое мнение, уголок оратора. Начнем, приступим к революции или начнем революцию. Независимо от того, о чем вы говорите, о революции, политике, о природе и так далее, ДРФ внесет изменения в вашу жизнь. Как бы выглядела история, если бы ДРФ был изобретен до французской революции? Имя пользователя Робеспьер. И я прошу прощения, мы начали повторять этот ролик. Итак, речь идет о
истории, которые важны для того, чтобы у нас...
Talking about retrospect, history in retrospect. And it's interesting that you need to attract the attention of users and those who want to donate with different types of stories. How do you attract people? Through which stories do you attract people into your project? I suppose I'm being heard. I have a loud voice. I'm going to tell you about the beginning of the process. Health and Help is the organization I lead. We build clinics in the developing countries or in the countries of the third world. We help people where they have no medical assistance. I was called here to relate to you how we use crowdfunding. We launched a project which was one of a few very successful projects connected with charity, which was not a common cause in Russia. We collected money from students, young people in Russia, and helped people living below the poverty line in other countries. It all began with a blog. I still have a blog, by the way, this blog. It's called Tropical Dog, because Tropical Doc, sorry, because I am a doctor in tropical diseases, and I started telling people about the lives of people who are less fortunate than we are, people who haven't enough food, who experience malnutrition, who do not get medical assistance. I started writing about them. I wrote about their life stories, and I always wanted to be a doctor, but I never thought that at 25 I was going to be sent to a village without electricity, with no drinking water, and where more than 60% of children go hungry. And it was going to be very difficult for me to decide whom to give medicine to out of the two, shall we say, terminally ill children. It was a very hard decision to make because I didn't have enough medication, you see. And crowdfunding is a great opportunity to render assistance to people. It's simple. It's easy. You can help people who have nothing. All together now, we can. What I want to say, I wanted to talk about the things that we do and that other people do as well. All of us, members of charitable foundations, those people who have a dream, have the opportunity and the possibility to do things we really want. We don't have the obstacles, the hindrances. You're not alone. Crowdfunding is about the crowd. There are millions of supporters. There are millions of people who think like you do, and people who think that everyone has a right to education, to preservation of nature, who has the right for a healthy lifestyle, irrespective of a religious background, irrespective of other preferences and race. it all comes from the heart. And the more stories, the more realistic stories you tell us, the better. For instance, in the Guatemala clinic that we built for the money we collected with the means of crowdfunding, we post photographs on a daily basis. And by the way, the doctors in their contract have a phrase, I will treat the people to the best of my experience. And we've got lots of people from all over the world, from Russia, from the US, from the UK. They help us with their contributions and with their assistance because they see how difficult it is to live in these countries and below the poverty line. We can give because, guys, I want to say that the more you give, the more you get. That's it. Thank you.
So I'd like to ask a question to all the panelists, if that's okay. I understand with new crowdfunding, there can be some risks because obviously with social media, lots of people interacting with campaigns. So what do you think are the main risks with crowdfunding and what barriers maybe young people face maybe in creating their own crowdfunding campaigns? We can start off with Roberto.
Can you work? Is it working this?
Yeah, it's working. Yeah.
Do you hear me? Yes? No? I think I need this. Yes, the crowdfunding is a tool that you can use to bring a lot of visibility. You can bring a lot of attention. But if you use in the wrong way, you will have a lot of bad visibility and a lot of attention that will turn into a bad reputation. So crowdfunding is a weapon, very, very strong weapon, because when you create a crowdfunding platform, you really get a lot of attention. In Italy, we use crowdfunding also just for marketing campaigns. There are many companies, many brands, many organizations that want to do crowdfunding, but they care about the visibility and the marketing side, not the money. For this reason, when you launch a crowdfunding campaign, you need to make a lot of attention when you create the campaign, to design the campaign, to think the campaign and the strategy around the campaign, to promote and to communicate the campaign. If you do in the wrong way, your campaign will fail. You will not get the money. In Italy, a lot of campaign, the most of campaign doesn't reach the economic goal they want to collect. And in this case, a crowdfunding campaign can turn into bad reputation because people will search your idea, your project, and will find a failed campaign, and so they will think that is not a good idea. For this reason, our first rule is that it's better an average idea, a normal idea with a great communication, a great design, and a great strategy, than a great idea that you can communicate. This is true in every case. Also, if you want to create a startup or an innovative project and you want to go to investors, it's very important how do you talk about your idea, how do you present. So the main risk is to turn the idea of a crowdfunding campaign into a campaign that gives you a bad reputation with your followers.
Thank you. Would any of the panelists like to comment?
Well, I think the main risk is the intrinsic risk of every internet-based, digital-based communication. Is it true? Is it real? Is it fake? Is the promoter the real promoter? Is it a fake Facebook account in the name of WWF? That's really, I mean, it hasn't happened yet, but I think that's the main risk. And so I don't think there is a solution to that entirely, but the risk of breaching the trust by not being totally in control, it's obviously a risk that organization using crowdfunding needs to mitigate and reduce as much as we can.
And Vika, would you?
In Russian or English? No. I think that the main risks that Russian organizations face within the Russian crowdfunding platform is, the large amount of such risks and competition. Competition is always there, and I'd like to say that there is a lot of charity, and there are a lot of charitable projects, but it's very difficult to donate to a particular hospital, to a hospice or a school, and you start looking through the hospitals that need money or children who need money. You see lists with thousands of names and thousands of organizations. It's very difficult to decide. So what I'd like to recommend those who represent such charitable organizations, try and read about the process and share your experiences, share best practices. Those who have been working in charitable projects give advice freely and share their experience. Of course, you will have your own strategy, you will have your own organization, the way you organize things, but nevertheless, try to accumulate this experience, but also ask questions. Ask questions of those who already have enough experience in this area. I'd like to ask you to show, I'd like to demonstrate one slide.
Just to clarify the point that I'm making as a response to this question. I'm used to speaking while standing, so it's one you can see one of a very interesting historical moments. We have just launched on air the second project, which is called a clinic in Nicaragua, and anyone can donate something to this project. So it's one on the list of thousands of similar projects. It's very interesting and it's very great. If you go down this web page, you would see there are different opportunities to receive various donations, and here are different amounts and donations. The more original you are, the easier it will be for you to raise such funds. Our project is not very standard because we work in developing economies, and very few charity organizations in Russia work with such countries. My second co-founder of our project is under 20, and we actually invented bonuses for the first 10 donors that we would write the names of the first 10 donors on our bodies online, on the internet. Well, yes, well, some people think that we want to shock the audience, but I'm not drawing attention to myself, that I'm so cool, I'm so great, that I'm writing some strange names on my own body. But the thing is that people in emerging economies lack medicine and they die because, well, medical help cannot be provided to them on time. And that's why I recommend to you, when you think over your ideas, your projects, and so if you are talking about, if you think about raising money for a hospice, certainly this trick wouldn't work. But then again, you should be creative. You've got to attract attention to your particular project, and then you would avoid lots of problems. You wouldn't have such instances that you would raise no money at all. for the project that you want to implement. Thank you, Victoria. Join this project or select any other project on this platform or maybe on another platform. I would also like to add about the crowdfunding risks, and that's professionalism in arranging such campaigns. Speaking about disappointment or frustration when we talk about such projects, that's when we don't make the deadline, because unless we collect a certain amount of money by this particular date, then things will be ruined, or vice versa. Something wonderful happens if we manage to collect this money by this deadline. The thing is that life interferes. Some different situations will happen in our lives, and that's why we may violate the deadline. But then again, don't give up. Don't be frustrated. Don't be disappointed. Maybe James can add from your own experience.
I've worked a lot with volunteers, and usually volunteers are really passionate to do the things that they want to do. Because it comes inside them. But the one issue that they face usually is financial problems. So because I work primarily with students, usually they spend time trying to fundraise money and stuff. And I think I totally agree with the panelists. It's about creativity. The most successful campaigns I've seen with crowdfunding have been the ones where they've been the most creative. And I think if you are looking to raise money and you are looking to fund in your campaigns, creativity is key. And I think young people, we are probably the most crazy people. So to crowdfund and be creative is, I think, about confidence as well. And if you have that confidence to make a creative campaign, and I think people not only understand you're passionate about it, I think they understand that you're taking and you're confident about what you want to do. I think also be really clear on why you're doing it, because I think people are very clear on what they're trying to achieve. So it's like, I really want to go to, say, Nicaragua, but why you really want to go there, and really express that through a campaign. And I think that's the main advice I can give you through my experience working with volunteers, from the most successful ones to the least successful. So yeah. And I think, can I ask one final question? Marco, did you want to add on to?
I just came up with another risk, which I think for us is quite a serious one. Because, as I said before, I think you mentioned as well, crowdfunding works well when you have a very specific project, time-bound, tangible, great stuff, good. But on the other hand, we risk to channel more and more money towards the more sexy and appealing and emotional initiatives, while there is a lot of other more boring stuff that is so important. For example, political lobbying. For example, advocacy to our politicians, or advocacy to the CEOs of big companies to become greener and more ecologically responsible. Nobody wants to pay for that kind of work, and so there is a risk that crowdfunding continues to restrict the funding more and more towards very specific stuff, which is useful and important, but is not the whole story.
Thank you so much. I'd like to ask one final question to all of the panelists, because I think one thing, as a young person myself, I'm thinking about crowdfunding for a new startup when I finish my role in ISEC. And I want to ask, could you give maybe 3 simple one-word tips on how to be successful in a crowdfunding campaign? So start off with Vika, and then we'll move down this way. So 3 simple tips on how to be successful in a crowdfunding campaign. Yes, for you.
First, I would say, сначала вы...
Well, I recommend to you all to find a good team, because crowdfunding it may seem on the face of it that you are making wonderful photographs and video clips, and because you have the most wonderful project, and so you are helping the disabled people, you are saving children, so you are doing something very good. And so it's just impossible that people would not respond similarly. So how people can fail, get interested in such wonderful projects? It's so good, but that's not enough. It's hard work. It's a 24/7 type of job, so you'll have to work really hard all through the months, all through the period that's allocated for this work. You will be writing hundreds and thousands of letters, talking with mass media, talking with journalists. So first and foremost, you've got to set up a team. Find and create a team. That's number one. Number two, what's proved very effective for us, various not very serious or funny things, because people are rather tired of sad-looking faces and sad-looking children. You just have to say that, well, provide help, give assistance is fun. It's not a sad affair. Well, people have lots of personal problems, and so just try and smile. Introduce this element of fun into this activity. And bonuses or rewards on crowdfunding platforms make it possible for people who donate some amount of money, even if it's pure charity, nevertheless gives them a chance to receive something. So let's say that project, when we collected 1.3 million rubles, we even had bonuses and rewards that were sent from Guatemala. And if you don't have postage money, then think how you can do that. For instance, this clinic that we have in Guatemala, all the walls of the clinic carry the names of the donors, of the people who gave us assistance. We didn't have an artist, a painter among our volunteers, but nevertheless, despite the fact that there's some characters, some letters were not perfect, it's really great. And so we commemorated the names of those people who provided assistance to us. And you can think of bonuses which would be easier to deliver because, well, in our organization, we not only exist due to private donations. Besides, we work for free. Teachers, medical staff, nurses, photographers get no salaries. We work for pro bono, and so every ruble means a pill against malaria for a child. And so certainly speaking about monetary rewards, well, it's big money for us, but people understand that they won't get back money once they have donated their own money to the campaign. But when they receive photographs, for instance, with personal thanks, thank you, Marina, you gave us 500 rubles, and we managed to save a family. And so if you are creative, and I have prepared a very long presentation regarding the appropriate way of crowdfunding, and it was quite successful. And we have many panelists, many speakers, and they all have their own experience, and they all know and wish to say something to you. So maybe after the event, you could talk to me if you want to become a volunteer for a project. If you want to launch a project of your own, please come up to me after the event and just ask me, because we're just ordinary people. Come up to us and we will tell you all the pluses and the minuses, what should be done, what's not to be done. Thank you.
Help you save time. 3 words. So The first one is tangibility, second is urgency, and the third one is inspiring and confidence that actually can be done. I think that's an important dimension too.
Thank you so much. And last but not least, Roberto.
The main tip is that to have a great strategy, a good strategy before to launch the campaign, during the campaign, and after the campaign. This means, in particular, three things. The first thing is explain, tell your project, tell your story. That means that you have to explain who you are, what you want to do, why you want to do that, why it's important, and why I should give you money, why it should be important for me too. The second tip is to find the right target of people. You can't launch a campaign for everyone. Not everyone is interested in the same way. You have to focus on particular target, more than one target, because I can focus on citizen, institution, companies, organization. Everyone can give me money, and I have to explain to all of them why they should. The third tip is to create rewards. The crowdfunding works a lot with rewards, because if I ask money just because you like my idea, you care about my idea, you will give me a symbolic amount of money, a symbolic contribution. If I give you rewards depending on the amount that you give me, in this way we usually can increase a lot the amount of money. In Italy, on our platform, when there is a campaign, a non-profit campaign without rewards, the average donation is 5, 10, 50 euros. When there are rewards, we go to 100 euro for a single donation.
Thank you so much. So now, yeah, sure.
Джеймс, я хотела спросить, возможно, у тебя есть 3...
So I wanted to ask you, maybe you have some advice as far as crowdfunding is concerned, because you're quite experienced in this area. Could you add a few things about your experience?
The experience that I've seen with volunteers in both UK and in Russia, because I primarily work with in the UK and Russia. I think the main tips I can give is, the first one I think it's been mentioned a lot, is creativity. I think the more creative you are in the way that you deliver the campaign on your social media pages, the more interaction you will get with people, and the more shares you'll be able to get, which is super, super important. And really look into how to manage social media, because I think there are lots of young people that think they know how to manage social media, and actually a lot of us don't. So really understand how social media works and how you can capitalize on sharing that with people. I think my second tip is, again, the same Roberto said, really understand the story. Like, why do you really want to, why does someone really want to donate to you? Because we really do as people, in our brain, in our psychology, and we really do connect with why do we do things. And it's something I really, really believe in, and I think lots of people really believe in as well. So I really think that when you really connect the story to the campaign that you're trying to create, I think it's millions of times more powerful. And I think the final point maybe is persistence. As a young person, I think it's very easy for us to I don't know, maybe not to give up early, but to not see success early and use that as a point of saying, this won't be successful, this is not going to work. But during my brief, not brief, but longer time in the volunteering sector, I think persistence is really, really important. And the more you build that resilience inside you, to the failures that you might have, to the maybe failed campaigns, or maybe that you might not get the amount of donations that you want originally to start with, and then you decide to move forward and create new campaigns. I think that's the main learning I think you can get, and you will learn a lot from your failures. So don't be scared to just carry on and see what can happen. So yeah, I think that's my main tips. Is it okay if we ask questions to the audience now, because I think audience will have lots of questions now based on the discussions that we have. So volunteers, microphones. Does anyone have a question they would like to ask to the panel today? You can put your hand up. So you have someone over here and someone over there as well. Yeah.
Всем добрый день.
Good afternoon. My name is Marina. I'm from Russia. I'm going to ask a question to Marco. I support your fund. I always donate money, and I do it with great pleasure. I think that everyone deserves applause here. Everyone is interested in crowdfunding, and we donate on a regular basis. And I ask my friends not to give me presents for my birthday, but instead donate money into your fund. And, well, I don't think you need to applaud me. This is something we all need to do without applause or special recognition. Currently, I can donate because I have a salary. I'm a master of the arts, and but a few years ago I couldn't. I was just a bachelor. I was, and I participated in different volunteer organizations. In other words, I served my society in other different ways. Currently, your fund has a minimal charity donation or investment. And I would like to say that I get information regularly. Now, if you want to help the Amur tiger, the minimal donation is 1,900 rubles. In dollars, that will be approximately $30-something. For me, that's quite easy. I can donate. But the majority of students in Russia, well, especially and amongst my friends, this is half of their scholarship. So I'd like to ask you, why have you chosen this model of this minimal charity donation? And does the amount depend on the country you're working in?
Thank you for your comment and for all your support in different ways. Money is one way, but you can support any cause in so many different ways, including just simply joining your voice to other voices in order to be heard more loudly. So thank you. I actually don't know what is the policy of donations in Russia. I'm meeting the WF Russia office tomorrow, so I'm going to ask them that question. There are many countries with many different policies. As far as I know, from a marketing perspective, the advice is you identify a minimum donation to try to incentivize people to focus on that particular amount. But frankly, you can donate anything you can, anything you want. So perhaps the message is not clear enough. That's the recommended donation because from a marketing perspective, we have to achieve a certain amount for the project, and therefore I think the calculations were that we can maybe get X thousand people donating, times that amount, we will actually be able to resource the project. I think that's how this minimum recommended donation comes from. But in reality, people donate as much as they can, as much as they want, even below that amount. But maybe the communication on the website is not clear enough. So I'll speak to the office tomorrow and ask that question to them as well.
Thank you so much. So maybe we can, on the second question.
Yeah, hi, I'm Bella and I'm from Finland. And I have a question about like downside of crowdfunding and big NGOs. And I really appreciate, Marco, your work and WWF, but there is a downside of a greenwashing, that your brand is so big and appreciated that companies want to use it and then they fund your projects and probably yours also, and then they use your brand as a like that we do something great and we are part of it, but in the end they do something environmental harmful. So what are your how do you attack that problem, and what are your guides to all the people who want to do work in this, and how to do work attacking greenwashing? Thank you.
Thank you very much. So this is a big dilemma for everyone in WWF. We believe very strongly, I have to say, very strongly in engagement. So we are not an organization that wants to just sit on a bench, accuse or criticize, and then wait for a solution to be found. We traditionally have been extremely focused on engaging, providing support, providing advice, building solutions together. And we do a lot of that with business, because today business is the main driver of ecological impact. And so not engaging with the business is just not an option if we are serious to really change the situation and move into a more sustainable future. We have very strict policies on how we work with business. And there's some companies where we don't work with at all. For example, oil and gas companies, we don't work with them at all. We talk to them, but we don't have projects together. When we go to companies like Coca-Cola or Unilever, which produce a lot of goods, or forestry companies in Finland or others, we look at two key dimensions. First of all, we do not receive money. So this is also, when you have a collaboration with a company, we do not receive free money from the company. We receive resources, perhaps, that we invest in a transformational project with the company that will change their behavior and their impact. So this is quite strong, and we have very strict regulations about that, because we do want to avoid greenwashing. However, for example, in regions of the world where the corporate responsibility towards environment is lower, there is a big dilemma. Do we want to actually begin to engage in a simple way just to get the company to begin to think about the environment, or do we just apply super strict criteria like in Europe, and therefore many of the companies in the rest of the world will not be eligible for collaboration? It's a big dilemma. And I have to say, I continue to believe we better take some risks and engage and try to push hard companies to change, rather than stay on a bench and just criticize and campaign against without particular engagement. But I do appreciate your concern. It's our concern too, and we're doing our best to avoid greenwashing, but obviously sometimes a risk of that is inevitable. But believe me, we're not receiving free money from any company. We just invest in concrete programs that we do put together to transform the behavior of the company. But we can talk more about that maybe after the session.
So we have a question at the front.
Здравствуйте. Меня зовут Алена.
I'm Alena Berkach. I represent a charity organization in Moldova, and we provide assistance to children with very serious diagnosis, who suffer from very serious diseases. We collect money in order to send those children to hospitals abroad, because unfortunately we don't very often have doctors who could operate on them. And we have a website which describes our activity, but do you think that charity organizations should have an additional crowdfunding platform, for instance, or maybe it would be just enough to use the existing official website in order to use this engine for crowdfunding? So do you think such platforms are as additional instruments for raising money? As far as I understand, that crowdfunding platforms use personal connections, friends, relations, etc., in order to invite more and more people, like friends of friends, etc. Well, I'm not talking about mass media, but how such platforms assist charity organizations in their activities. Besides, The platform itself also charges a fee for servicing such companies or organizations. But if donations are made via the website of my organization, then it accounts. People have to pay only the bank's fee, like 1, maybe 2%. But people are sometimes confused and discouraged about the fees. Thank you very much for the question. Who is ready to take it?
Yes, we assist the organization when they create a crowdfunding campaign on the platform. We help them from the beginning. So how to think the campaign. In the beginning, we give them tutorials, guides, and more, but we give them free consultants, a free consultant to help them to design the campaign, to think the campaign, because before to create the content, you have to think what you want to, the story you want to tell, and how you want to tell. So we help them in all the process to create the campaign and the strategy. We help them to launch the campaign and to promote the campaign. So we call the newspapers. We help with our social media, and it's like when you create a crowdfunding campaign, you can do by yourself on your website with your followers and your supporters, or you can bring your campaign in a big square with a big community of people interested and who cares. That is the crowdfunding campaign. You bring the campaign in a square where your followers give you the first step, the first amount of money, and then the community of the platform can help you to raise the rest of the money. So usually the campaigns that reach the first 20% of money with his followers, his supporters, then the platform helps to reach the other money. And usually when a campaign reaches 100%, it's very easy to get more, to get a lot more. The crowdfunding campaign, the crowdfunding platform also helps you when the campaign finish, because they give to you and to your donors a lot of transparency and a lot of the visibility to who are the donors, how to manage the money, and helps you to tell people how we'll use the money. The campaigns doesn't finish when you get the money. It continues because it's very important to keep the contact with the donors and tell them how you are using their money. In every case, the crowdfunding platform usually take a fee on the money you raise. Usually for art, innovation, politics, and other kind of campaign, we take a 5% or a 9% of fee. In the case of charity, we just take the expenses. So we take 1% for the bank and 2% for the crowdfunding platform. So a 3% in total of fee. But often we make a deal when it's a particular campaign. It's very important, and we are the first to invest in your campaign. And so we decide to don't take any fee often, or to lower the fee when you reach some milestones. Thank you.
Да, я дополню как раз.
And let me add something and say a few words about the Russian experience. And Vika mentioned competition. And when we talk about crowdfunding platforms, yes, that's true. Competence there is very high. And due to this competition, there are 2 projects that they have decided not to charge any fee for charity projects. But the thing is that crowdfunding, it's not traditional. It's already changed or transformed, because it doesn't offer any bonus or any reward. So it's just a virtual thing, so maybe a postcard. And I would like to demonstrate to you a slide. We are launching an experiment within the framework of our project, and we have decided that this remuneration or reward is too expensive for small organizations, regional or local, and the cost of such rewards may exceed the entire purpose of this project. And for the first time, we are opening this platform, dobromail.ru. It will be officially launched tomorrow, and it's a totally free platform for crowdfunding. It will not charge a single penny for their activities. That's something that we are going to try. And at the end of the year, we will report to you whether we succeeded or not, so whether people really cherish trust and confidence, or whether they are inclined to cherish bonuses and rewards.
Maybe one final question from the crowd? That's over here, sorry.
Good afternoon, I'm Konstantin. I am from Russia. And I have the question about the future of crowdfunding. Well, lots of people are discussing new mechanisms of interaction between people and blockchains. This is also financial interaction. So do you see any link between crowdfunding platforms and the blockchain? Or maybe some other organizations may use their websites in order to donate money. So I do love WWF, and it's one of my favorite organizations, and I also donate money. But is it possible to donate cryptocurrency to your organization?
Когда готовилась, да, к работе нашей.
I will respond to you. So when I was getting ready for this session, I studied this issue. I know that the Bulgarian crowdfunding platform has officially announced that they are ready to accept bitcoins and other cryptocurrencies as donations. I know that Greenpeace and United Way, they're already accepting donations in cryptocurrency. Maybe my colleagues could add something.
WBF for now. Rubles are accepted, welcome, but cryptocurrency, not yet. But we will have to think about that possibly in the future. But we're not there yet for now.
Марк, а можно спрошу, почему?
And Mark, can I ask you why you say that you are?
Thought about that. Very simple. I don't think the type of supporters that donate to us around the world are the type of people that are into cryptocurrency, like bitcoins and others. But definitely we should look into that. Yeah. The reality is also that our project on the ground, you know, I tell you, for example, let's say you want to support our project in the Congo about elephant poaching. These are projects, most of our projects are really remote, in remote areas where actually not even banks exist. We have to go and bring money in a suitcase to pay our field staff. So I think cryptocurrency will be probably a bit of a problem there. But it's a good provocation, and definitely we'll talk about my people about that.
Roberto, can I ask you, please?
We are not using cryptocurrency yet, but we are working on it because for a company, for a crowdfunding platform, when you decide to add a new payment method, you have to count how many people will use it. So people choose to use a different payment method. Also, depends on the kind of campaign. For charity, for innovation, probably if we add cryptocurrency, we add Bitcoin, they will use just to fund our startup, our digital startups, digital projects, and not for charity, not for politics, not for culture. So we are actually always working on innovation of our platform, adding always different payment methods. In Italy, we are already doing a big step, adding the payment with your phone, because actually it's not possible. But we are working with phone companies, telco company in Italy to let people to pay with their text, with a text from their phone. And the other way we are about your question, the future of crowdfunding. We are working also on another side. we are try to involve, to engage other different stakeholders to fund campaigns. For example, in Italy, we are not using cryptocurrency for crowdfunding, but we are trying to engage institutions and big companies in crowdfunding. For example, if you create a campaign on the Rev and you reach the 50% of your money, the government, the Italian government, on the municipality of your city can give you the other 50% of money, or a big company like Coca-Cola, Coke, or other companies in Italy give you the 50% of your money if they like your project for free. So we are working for the evolution of crowdfunding also in this way.
Thank you so much. It's a really actually interesting question. Actually, my organization itself, we haven't looked into like cryptocurrency, but I think in the future it's something that I think we will definitely have interest in, because I think as more and more as the world changes and more and more digital currencies become available, I think it's possibility for sure for this. This is a way to being able to fund campaigns. So yeah, does anyone else like to contribute to the question? Okay, because we have one more question. Cool, thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Tato Best from Botswana. Mine is rather a comment. I'm quite inspired by what our panelists shared with us today. I happen to run an organization back at home called Youth Towards Excellence. It's an organization which we help young girls in rural areas to be able to meet their everyday basic needs, to avoid them from dropping off school. So in Botswana, or probably let me say Africa, we have challenges of young girls not being able to proceed further in terms of education because of lack of basic materials. So that's what we do at our organization. We try to provide those items to those young girls. So I am quite inspired by what our panelists shared with us today. And I think it's something, I believe it's something that I'll take back home with me and do so much better. Thank you.
Thank you. So we're getting towards the end today. So thank you for everyone who's engaged with questions. I think I'd like to end with some closing remarks, if that's okay. So I think I'm learning about crowdfunding myself here. I've learned so much during this panel. And I think the main thing that two things I can take away. So two things for me. One is creativity. I think one of the main themes is about how you can really engage people through your campaigns, through creative ideas or strategies, and being really clear on the message as well, and but in a creative way. And I think the second thing, especially as someone who again works a lot with youth and is a member of youth as well, the main thing I take away as well is action, like to have the confidence to take action in the crowdfunding project. Because if you're thinking about funding your own volunteering project, or you're thinking about volunteering in a project and you need financial support, I think the first thing you need to do is just take action and be confident enough to really share your experience and share with people. And don't feel like no one wants to support you, because I think I often work with volunteers and they automatically think, oh, no one will donate to my campaign. No one is interested at all. But actually, I think people really are, and I think that's the main thing, is about taking action. Yeah, I think that's the main two remarks I'd like to add. Inga, do you have any remarks yourself?
Джеймс, спасибо большое. Я тоже хочу.
Thank you very much, James. I would also like to thank you for today's work and participation. Colleagues, use the experience of Marco, Roberto, Vicky. We are ready to assist you. We are ready to render any kind of advice, and we are ready to continue our discussion. Thank you very much. Let's applaud our panelists. Thank you very much.
Your participation.